Are we all met?
Pat, pat. And here is a marvelous convenient place for our rehearsal. This green patch shall be our stage, this hawthorn brake our tiring house, and we shall do it in action as we do it before the Duke.
Peter Quince,
What sayest thou, Bully Bottom?
there are things in this comedy of Pyramus and Thisbe that will never please. First, Pyramus must draw a sword and kill himself, which the ladies cannot abide. How you answer that?
By our lacking a parlous fear.
I believe we must leave the killing out when all is done.
Ha, not a whit. I have a device to make all well. Write me a prologue, and let that prologue seem to say that we will do no harm with our swords, and that Pyramus is not killed indeed, and for the better assurance, tell them that I, Pyramus, am not Pyramus, but Bottom the Weaver. This will put them out of their fear.
And we shall have such a prologue, and it will be written in 8 and 6.
No, make it 2 more. Let it be written in 8 and 8.
Will not the ladies be afeard of the lion?
I fear it, I promise you.
Masters, you ought to consider with yourselves to bring in, God shield us, a lion amongst ladies is a most dreadful thing, for there is not a more fearful, wild fowl than your lion living, and we ought to look to it.
Therefore, another prologue must tell he is not a lion.
Nay, you must name his name, and half his face must be seen through the lion's neck, and he himself should speak, saying thus, or to the same defect, ladies, or fair ladies, I would wish you, or I would request you, or I would entreat you, not to fear, not to tremble my life for yours, for if you think that I come hither as a lion, 'twere pity on my life. No, I am no such thing. I am a man, as other men are. And there indeed let him name his name, and tell them plainly he is Snug, the joiner.
And we shall have such a prologue. But masters, there's 2 hard things. That is, we must bring moonshine into the chamber, for Pyramus and Thisbe met by moonlight.
Doth the moon shine that night we play our play?
A calendar, a calendar. Look in the almanac. Find out moonshine. Find out moonshine.
Yes, it doth shine by night.
Why, then you may leave a casement of the great chamber where we play open, and the moon may shine in on that casement.
Aye. Or else, one must come in with a lantern and bush of thorns and say he comes to present the person of moonshine. Then there's another thing. We must have a wall in the great chamber, for Pyramus and Thisbe says the story did talk through the chink of a wall.
You can never bring in a wall. What say you, Bottom?
Some man or other must present wall, and let him have some rough cast, or some plaster or loam about him, to signify wall, and let him hold his fingers thus, and through that cranny shall Pyramus and Thisbe whisper.
If that may be, then all is well. Come, every mother's son, sit down and rehearse your parts. Pyramus, you begin. When you have spoken your lines, enter into that break, and so every man according to his cue.
What heaven homespuns have we swaggering here, so near the cradle of the fairy queen? I'll be an auditor, an actor too, if I see cause.
Pyramus, speak. Thisbe, stand forth.
Thisbe, the flowers of odious.
Odors. Odors.
Odors, savor sweet, so hath thy breath thy Thisbe dear. But hark, a voice, stay thou but here a while, and by I will to thee appear.
A stranger Pyramus that ever played here.
Must I speak now? Aye, Mary, must you, for you must understand that he goes but to see a voice he heard and is to come again.
Most radiant Pyramus, most lily white of hue, of color like the red rose on triumphant briar, most briskly juvenile and most lovely Jew, as true as horse that yet would never tire, I'll meet thee, Pyramus, at Ninny's tomb.
Ninny's, ma'am! And that you never tire.
Oh. As truest horse that yet would never tire.
If I were fair with you, I would only die.
Oh, monstrous! So strange! Pray masters! Fly masters! Help!
I'll follow you. I'll lead you round to round. Through bog, through brush, through brake, through briar. Sometimes a horse I'll be, and sometimes a hound, a hog, a headless bear, and sometimes a fire. And neigh and bark and roar and burn, like horse, hound, hog, bear, fire at every turn.
Why do they run away? This is a knavery of them to make me afeard.
Oh, Bottom, thou art changed. What do I
What do you see? You see an ass head of your own, don't you?
Bless thee, Bottom. Bless thee. Thou art translated.